So this is our binomial expansion question, and they've presented it to us in a way where we have to do a bit of thinking. The first brackets, if we expand that, we will get terms with x to the 0, x to the 1, x to the 2, x to the 3, and x to the 4. But then that expansion gets multiplied by the other brackets. And what we're really interested in here is how do we make x cubed? And the way that we make x cubed is if we have the x cubed term times the 5, well, that will make an x cubed term. And we have x squared term times the negative ax, well, that will also make an x cubed term. Well, they're the only ways that we can create the x cubed term, and so that's what we're interested in. We don't have to do the whole binomial expansion for the 2 plus ax to the power of 4. We just want to know, well, how do I get the term with the x squared and the x cubed? So let's focus on that. And when we start our expansion, we're saying, well, okay, I want the x squared term, which means the ax is going to be squared. Now, if I work my way backwards, the other term in the brackets is 2. It has to be raised to the power of 2 as well, because the two powers have to add up to the 4. And so 2 plus 2 is 4. So it's raised to the power of 2. And in front of that, we have the combination. The first number in the combination is the power we get from the brackets. That is the power of the expansion, 4. And then the second number, well, we can use either of the powers, but we traditionally go with the second one on the ax. And so we will put 2 there. Right, so that's our term, which is going to give me the x squared. So how do we then make the x cubed term? Well, I need ax, and I raise it to the power of 3. Working backwards, that means 2. The other term gets raised to the power of 1, because 1 plus 3 makes 4. And in our combination, we have 4c3, because we take the power from the second term, ax, there. All right, so that's it. So how do we then work out what each of these equals? For the combinations, we can do Pascal's triangle, or you can do 4 factorial over 2 factorial, 2 factorial. If we quickly draw up Pascal's triangle, always remember the first number you see is 4c0, or if you have some other row, whatever the number is, c0. And then 4c1, 4c2, 4c3, 4c4. So just reading from there, 4c2 is 6. And we will have 6 times 2 squared is 4 times a squared times x squared. And for our other term, 4c3, we can see that it's going to be 4 times 2 times a cubed times x cubed. Simplifying, 24a squared x squared, 8a cubed x cubed. Now these are the two terms from the first expansion that we know get multiplied by the other brackets to make the x cubed terms. And how do we do that? Well, it's 5 times the 8a cubed x cubed. That will make an x cubed term. And it's negative ax times the 24a squared x squared, because that also makes an x cubed term. Simplifying and then factorizing the x cubed, putting the coefficients together, we end up with 16a cubed x cubed. Now they told us the coefficient of the x cubed term is equal to 432, and so we have to just solve this for a, divide by 16, and we'll get a equals 3.